Hello artists! So today I'm going to show you how we can create an abstract sculpture. So this is sculpture in the round, so you can see it from all different directions. So be thinking about that as you are decorating it and creating your designs for your shapes, and be thinking about, maybe what kind of colors you want to use. This one I kind of used all cool colors, so it kind of looks like a wave almost. And this one I used warm colors, so it kind of looks like flames. So you do something like that. Or this one I just kind of, did a bunch of different random colors, so we might be able to do some action painting too, where I kind of just like drip paint on it. And I do have some glitter paint too, which kind of looks neat as well. Kind of give it some shimmer and shine. So the first thing we're going to do is get a piece of wood, and then you can write your name on the bottom. So let's write your name on there. And then you're going to have some sculpture wire, and just be careful, the ends are kind of sharp, so don't be flinging them around. Just be conscious of them. So I have drilled 2 holes in your base, so you can stick your wire into those holes, and I try to drill them like all the way through, so then that way you can kind of bend this down, and if you have trouble bending it, I can come around and help you bend it down just so it doesn't come out of that hole. And then I'm going to stick this other one end in that hole so it goes through a little bit, and then kind of bend that. So I'm just going to kind of get it in, this sort of shape, because I'm going to put some pantyhose or stockings over top of it, and I have some tan or some black ones, so it's up to you. We're going to be painting over them anyways, so it doesn't really matter. But what you want to do is you want to kind of, so this is like the opening of it, you're going to kind of work your hands down to the kind of toe part here. And I might put that seam like on the inside, I think, of my sculpture. And so I'm going to put it down over the top and then kind of stretch it down. And then I'm going to take this elastic part and I got to stretch that over my base. And you can see it's a little like kind of saggy here. So you can kind of pull more, but be careful as you're pulling it, because the pantyhose can like tear on the wood. So you're going to want to, get it nice and tight, but also try not to tear the pantyhose. So get that on there, and then you can start now taking your wire and kind of moving it around, twisting it in different positions until you get some sort of shape that you like. So I'm going to kind of mess with mine a little bit until I get something that I like here. Alright, I think I'm happy with my shape that I have now, and I've kind of, pulled my stocking nice and tight. That's going to help you when you start painting this with some glue is our next step. And just leave this part hanging for now. We'll cut that off next time after we paint our glue on. So I've got some containers here with some glue. So we are going to, as quick as we can, paint this whole entire surface with glue, and that's going to make it nice and stiff and hard once this glue dries, so that way we can paint on it a little bit easier. And I would probably recommend starting with the top and then working your way down, because you have to paint the whole thing and the base. You want to paint the base down there too with your glue. And I'll probably, give you guys some newsprint or something so we don't get it all over our tables, and make cleanup a little bit easier on us. So I'm just kind of painting that. And it's a little, different painting on a surface that is not flat or hard. So it's kind of moving around with you, and that's why you kind of want to get it, your stocking as tight as you can so you don't have quite so much movement. But I'm going to use my glue and kind of scooping it up and then painting it on. You can kind of glob it on there and then spread it around. So I'm going to do that to mine. Alright, so I have finished painting with glue, and your hands might be getting a little messy here at the end, especially once you paint that base. And you don't have to paint the very bottom, but you know, you want to get all of those edges around the base so that way when we like cut your stocking, it doesn't start fraying up. So before you clean your hands though, you're going to take your project and we're going to put these probably in the windowsill on trays to dry. And then I will get one that is already dry to show you the next steps. Alright, so once they're dry, you can see up here they're kind of stiff and hard, so it'll be a little bit easier to paint on. And these ones have already kind of, you know, were started to be painted by children. So I'm going to just finish them up. So we're going to use some acrylic paints, and these are permanent and they'll dry kind of plasticky too. So we're just going to paint these onto our surfaces. So I got my water cup, and then I'll probably put, you know, this on my newsprint too so it doesn't get all the table all messed up, easier to clean up. And you can mix up your colors too, so it looks like, you know, they kind of had this teal color going on, so I could maybe take, you know, some of that green, kind of clean off my brush when I switch colors, maybe mix a little bit of blue in with it, and then maybe grab some of this white here, and you can kind of blend them together, you know, to mix up whatever colors you want to use, and then you just paint it on. I think that one's a little more green than blue, but that's okay. And I like to kind of blend my colors on here too, you know, if it's going from like one color into another color. Put that down there. And so you're gonna have to kind of, you know, be rotating it too as you're painting, since it's sculpture in the round. And then let's say maybe it goes into kind of more of a bluish color up here, so I'll just kind of blend that color in with that paint that's already there. So I'm going to kind of paint all the surfaces on my sculpture here with kind of a base colors. Now the base, I could, you know, continue with the same color so it kind of wraps around, but I think what I might do on this one is maybe even paint the base a different color. So that's up to you, you know, whatever you'd like to do. So I'm trying to decide if I want it black maybe. I think I might do a black base down here. Okay, so now I've kind of finished that, and I'm going to let it dry, and then the last day of class we'll do some splatter painting, so I will get that stuff out to show you. And I think I forgot to tell you, you know, before we started painting, we can cut this bottom part off too, you know, with just some scissors, and cut that off so it kind of, you know, sits flat on the bottom. Alright, so for this next part, I'll show you how you can use some glitter paint, and then I'll show you how you can do some splatter action painting. So the glitter paint is a little transparent, so you kind of are going to see whatever color is underneath. So if I get some of this, kind of paint it on there, I can still see that orange underneath, but then I see the kind of, you know, gold glitter on top. So you're going to want to wait, you know, until your first coat is dry, and then paint that on so it's kind of like a clear layer on top. Maybe I'll flip it over too and do this side of it just so it's kind of the same. So then the next thing is, if you're doing the action painting, I'll probably have you go outside, since it's kind of messy. So I do have some paint that's been kind of watered down in these bottles. So you can kind of lay it flat and drip this paint on it, or kind of like, you know, move it around while it's dripping. You could, you know, have it, if you have it vertical, then of course they're going to start dripping downwards. So I could, you know, squirt some on here and then have it kind of drip down. So some different, you know, effects you can get with that type of paint there. You can also, you know, have your paint in your palette and then just kind of water that down. So I'm just gonna get some clean water. Alright, so I can just take some water. Let's say maybe I want to do some of this silver and kind of get that nice and wet. And then I can, you know, either do it while it's standing or kind of lay it down just so you guys can see a little better in the video. And then you can just kind of flick it at it, and you can either, you know, tap it on your hand like this, or you can kind of shake it over top, fling it towards it, and you kind of can't, you know, fix anything if you mess it up. It kind of just is what it is, so you have to kind of be okay, you know, with whatever it kind of looks like. I'm gonna do some more on this side. Just kind of fling it at it, tap my brush. And I also have those toothbrushes too, which might work. So with these, you kind of get a little more smaller splatters. So I might kind of dip it in my water so I can get this black nice and wet. And then, so I have some black on here, and then I'm going to take this other one and kind of flick it towards my project, and it kind of splatters, you know, some of that black on there. So I can do that too. Alright, so you can see it's now decorated. I'm going to let it dry. But I hope you had fun doing these, and you can see my table is completely messy, which is probably why we'll do this part outside. Well, have a great day. Bye.